Welcome students, I am Rajiv Banerjee. I have come from Noihati Narendra Vidyaniketan in Noihati. Today I will be taking your English class and my topic will be sonnet that's prescribed in the fourth semester of the syllabus that you are supposed to study. So while I'll be saying something about sonnet, first let me be clear about something relating to sonnet. What is a sonnet and all that? You know, in our journey of poetry, down the ages in English literature, sonnet features as one of the most powerful ones. Now, the thing is, what is a sonnet? First, we have to define what sonnet is. Sonnet is a lyrical poem. As all of us know, what is a lyrical poem? A poem that's rich in music, rich in sounds, melody, etc. So sonnet is also a lyric, basically a lyric that consists of 14 lines. The first 8 being called octave, and the later 6 lines are called sestet. So together we have 14 lines, and generally the sonnets are in iambic pentameter. That's metrical things. You are not supposed to read about all these things. Okay, so the sonnet that we are prescribed with in our HS syllabus is sonnet number 73, composed by William Shakespeare. Now, as I was telling you, each one of the sonnets has its particular rhyme scheme. Now, what is a rhyme scheme? Rhyme scheme is nothing but the rhyming, the rhythm that goes around a poem. Suppose here one rhyme scheme. I am writing here one rhyme scheme: A B B A. That is, A B B A means A will come again. A will come again to rhyme with this particular word in the particular poem that we will be studying. It will come to rhyme with this one, and B will have its counterpart in B. So the word in A, in the place of A, will rhyme with this fourth word, and same, the B will be rhyming with this B portion. So ABBA, ABBA. ABBA and ABBA together makes 8 sentences, 8 lines. These are called octave. Okay. And the last ABBA, ABBA. These 8 lines are octave. C, D, E, C, D, E. These 6 lines will be called sestet. So octave and sestet go into the making of the poem, that is a sonnet. So this pattern actually came in the hands of Petrarch. So actually sonnet generated at first in Italy. There Petrarch, a poet named Petrarch, wrote about the sonnets. Petrarch was the first to conceive of the sonnet pattern. Petrarch. He is the first sonneteer. He is an Italian poet, and down the ages we have seen some sonnets have come over into English literature too, in the subject English too. Petrarch was in the 14th century. Okay, so after suppose 200 years henceforth, that is in the 16th century, during the time of 16th century, the sonnet was composed in English by the poet Watt and the Earl of Surrey. They began to write in sonneteering form. Okay, so then the form got exposed to a variety of poets, and the topic was experimented in various ways, coming later to the hands of Shakespeare, who had given the form, who had given the rhyme ABAB CD CD. This was as it was in Italy, and now when Shakespeare wrote it, it was ABAB CD CD EFEFGG. Now in Shakespearean sonnet we come to learn about couplet. What is a couplet? Now couplet is the last two lines of a sonnet. Now ABBA, ABAB, CD ABAB, CD EFEF. So three quatrains, each of 4 lines, finished by a couplet. Now the purpose of the couplet is generally to speak about the theme, to speak about actually what the poet actually intends to say, that the couplet will reflect. Okay. Then came romantic era in English literature, and romantic poets also tested their hands, experiments their hands in writing sonnets. Okay, so Wordsworth names can be found like Wordsworth, Keats, Shelley. All of them were romantic poets, as we know. They were born, actually they ruled the roost in 18th century, the romantic age in English literature, and they also tried their hands in writing sonnets. Now coming to the themes of the sonnets. Sonnet is actually, when we go back to the era of that particular man, that is Petrarch, the Italian poet Petrarch. He thought of writing the sonnet on the theme of his unrequited love from his beloved Laura. So love, time, and aging, love, time, these are the and death, these are the general themes that goes into the composition of the sonnets. Okay, so we are to study sonnet 73 today. Sonnet 73 generally revolves around the themes of aging, decay, kind of approaching death. Okay, so these are the These are the points that we are to cover in this particular sonnet. That time of year thou mayest in me behold. That time of year, actually the time, as we go on reading this, we will get to know what the time is about. Actually the time is autumn. Actually all of us know in European countries they celebrate summer because they are winter centric countries. They are all winter centric nations, so they revel in summer. They make merry in summertime. So autumn means the advent of winter. So it's a sad days. So to them the sad days are coming. We can say that. Okay. So that time of year, that is summer is over, autumn has come. That time of year, though thou mayest in me behold. Thou mayest, thou means you. Mayest, may. Thou mayest, that is you may. In me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Now in autumn time, autumn কি হয় যে গাছের থেকে পাতা পাতা ঝরে যায়, leaves are grown old and they shed. তাহলে যে বগুলো থাকে, বউস হচ্ছে শুকনো ডাল, that shakes against the cold. When the cold wind comes, they shake lest they should fall. তার মানে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে কবি একটা প্রথমেই নেগেটিভিটি দিয়ে শুরু করলেন যে জীবনের তো আমি আজকে জীবনের যে প্রান্তে এসেছি, I am just counting the days when I will die because I am feeble. I have grown feeble. I have grown faint. So the poet starts with this kind of note. When yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Bare wind choirs. Now, choir. All of suppose I can take it that all of us might have sometime or the other have gone to the church, and there goes some music inside the church. So the musicians, choir means the group of church singers. Those singers who sing in the church are called choir. It's a collective noun, choir. Bare ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang. So the actually bare ruined choirs here hints at the bare boughs which shake against the cold. The comparison, the metaphor is being taken over in this way. Okay, so choir means group of church singers, and that is referred in to the leafless branches or boughs. Bare wind choirs where late the sweet bird sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away. At first, let me tell you, this particular sonnet has been based on the comparison or as far as the comparison here is concerned, there are three things the comparison has been made upon. The first one is autumn. The second one is twilight. Okay. And the last one is dying fire. So the metaphor has been made on these three things. The poet's life has been compared first to autumn, to the season of autumn, then to the twilight of a day, and lastly with the dying fire. Okay. So in me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away. কিরম সময় না as after sunset fadeth in the west, actually as the day closes in, what happens? The sunset fades in the west, it's kind of dusk. Now evening grows slowly, then night comes and engulfs us into its grip. So night is all black and dark. It's the space where we cannot know anything. It's a sea of darkness where we are lost after breathing our last. So which by and by black night doth take away. As the sun sets in the west, then comes the black night. সূর্য যখন অস্ত যায় তখন আস্তে আস্তে দেখি আমরা ব্ল্যাক নাইট আস্তে আস্তে সারা এনভায়রনমেন্টকে ঘিরে ধরে। মিস্টেরিয়াস ব্ল্যাক নাইট, death's second self that seals up all in rest. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. What is death's second self? Black night. Black night is death's second self. Why? Question may come this way. Why is black night called death's second self? As we are not well aware of what happens after death, so black night symbolizes darkness, blackness. We cannot peep through blackness. We cannot understand what blackness intends us to understand. So blackness means some mysterious things, some things that we are not well aware of. So death's second self means it's a death embodied in the black night. So whenever we see something mysterious, when we cannot delve deep into something, as far as the meaning or connotation is concerned, we cannot understand the meaning of something, it's mysterious to us. And when it is dark, when darkness engulfs it, it's all the more mysterious, as death is. So as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. Actually, when death occurs, where do we go? We are throbbing, we are going, we are eating, we are enjoying. Again, we are through some gruesome experience of life. All these are happening around. And when death comes, it seals up all in rest. Death is the solution of all our movements. এটা আমাদের চিরনিদ্রায় এক প্রশান্তিতে শুইয়ে দেয়। Death that seals up all in rest. তাহলে দুটো হলো, অটম হলো, টুয়াইলাইট হলো। The comparison, the metaphor was compared once to autumn and then to twilight. Now comes this dying fire. Okay. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth, actually it's dying fire. When actually we light up a hearth of fire and the time goes on, at the end what happens? We see some simmering fire. It simmers and afterwards it grows cold and calm and it gets extinguished. The fire gets extinguished at last. So it's time to be extinguished. It's nearly the time to be extinguished. It's just simmering. On the ashes of its youth, the fire was very violent at one point of time. Some minutes before, some hours before, it was kind of dangerous. It got all the force of itself. But now it simmers. আস্তে 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 ফায়ারের যে প্রদাহ, যে শক্তি, সেটা কিন্তু কমে এসছে। এটা আস্তে আস্তে ধুক ধুক করছে, আস্তে আস্তে নিভে যাবে। এখানেও কিন্তু কবির জীবনের সাথে এই ডাইং ফায়ারের একটা কম্পারিজন বা মেটাফোর টানা হলো। That on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire. So in me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire. And this simmering matter, the simmering fire is lying on its youth when it was burning heavily. Now the things have changed since then. Now that particular, that dangerous, that stormy fire is the deathbed on which this simmering fire is lying. সেই স্টর্মি ফায়ার যখন ছিল সেইখানটা, সেই হার্থটায়, সেই স্টর্মি ফায়ারের শেষ হচ্ছে সিমারিং ফায়ার। তার মানে স্টর্মি ফায়ারটাই হ্যাজ কাম ইনটু দ্য বিইং অফ সিমারিং ফায়ার। একটা সময় এই আগুনটা প্রচন্ড দীপ্ত আকারে জ্বলছিল, প্রচন্ড স্ট্রং আগুন ছিল, কিন্তু এখন সেই আগুন ধুক ধুক করে জ্বলছে। অর্থাৎ সেই আগুনের কিন্তু তেজ শেষ। এবং আগুনটা কোথায় জ্বলছে? তার ইউথ, তার যে 2 ঘন্টা আগে সে যেমন তেজের সাথে জ্বলছিল, সেই জায়গাতেই সে কিন্তু আজকে consumed with that which it was nourished by. যে ধরো আগুনটা জ্বলছিল কাঠ দিয়ে, wood was burning and was giving the flow of fire. তাহলে ওই উডটাই এখন কিন্তু, উডের ছাইগুলোই কিন্তু এখন আস্তে আস্তে আগুনটাকে নেভাবার কাজ করছে। তার মানে it was nourished by the wood. First the wood burnt to give the expression, to give the luminous light, and the ashes of the same wood is now contributing to put an end to the fire. So The comparison has already been done with dying fire. So these three things have been completed. Now comes couplet. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well, which thou must live or long. Now this is the couplet. As I was telling you, that couplet always speaks for the idea the poet is having, the idea the poet is having. So the poet at last ends with these two lines: this thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well, which thou must live or long. If you perceive this fact of life, the transience of time, and we must meet death at the end of our life, এটা যদি আমরা পারসিভ করতে পারি, এটা যদি আমরা বুঝতে পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু যে জিনিসটা আমরা ভালোবাসি সেই জিনিসটা আরো আমাদের ভালোবাসা সেই জিনিসটার প্রতি স্ট্রং হবে। এই যে বলছে, this thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well. Why strong? It will grow more strong so that we can love it in a better way. We can love it better. To love it better, which thou must live or long. Or means before. Or long means before long. That is soon, very soon. Which thou must live. এখানে which মানে কি? যে জিনিসটা তুমি ভালোবাসো, the thing that you love most, that thing you must live when you die. You must live the thing. You must live all the things that you love. So, as you have to go from the things that you love, you must love that well, so that there is no repentance, no lamentations afterwards. ঠিক আছে? তাহলে আমরা কবিতার টেক্সটটা মোটামুটি একটা দেখলাম যে টেক্সটটা এরকম হতে পারে, এবং সনেটের একটা ব্রিফ ইন্ট্রোডাকশনও আমরা দিলাম। আর সনেটের থিমগুলোও আলোচনা করলাম, যে সনেট জেনারেলি সেন্টার্স রাউন্ড লাভ, টাইম, এজিং, ডেথ. Death is inevitable, and the transience of time always welcomes death. টাইম আস্তে আস্তে শেষ হয় এবং ডেথকে সে কাছে ডাকে। এইগুলোই হচ্ছে জেনারেলি সনেটের থিম। এই জিনিসগুলোর উপরই, এই টপিকগুলোর উপরই সনেট লেখা হয়। এইবার দেখো কিছু কোয়েশ্চেন্স আমি দেখছিলাম, একটু তৈরি করেছি, এইগুলোর উপর একটুখানি জোর দিয়ে তোমরা যদি দেখো, if you study these questions to get its answers, it will be beneficial for you. Now, what type short answer type questions? What time of year does Shakespeare want to mean? আমি এইমাত্র বললাম কোন টাইমটার কথা বলা হয়েছে এবং কেন বলা হয়েছে। অটমের কথা কেন বলা হয়েছে আমি আলোচনা করেছি। হোয়াট টাইম অফ দ্য ইয়ার ইজ রেফার টু হলো থিম অফ দ্য সনেট, আমি আলোচনা করেছি যে এই সনেটে কি কি থিম আছে। এই সনেটে মেন যে কথাটা, যে আমরা তো বেশি দিন এই পৃথিবীতে নেই, যতদিন আছি ততদিন যে বিষয়গুলোকে আমাদের ভালো লাগে, যে বিষয়কে আমি ভালোবাসি, সেই বিষয়গুলোকে এইভাবেই বা এর থেকেও বেশি করে স্ট্রংলি ভালোবেসে যাব। এটাই হচ্ছে এই মানে সনেটটার মূল বিষয়বস্তু। সেখানে আইডিয়াটাকে আরো এক্সপান্ড করেছেন, এই মেটাফোর গুলো দিয়েছেন, কম্পারিজনস গুলো দিয়েছেন, দিয়ে এই আইডিয়াটাকেই আরো এক্সপান্ড করেছেন, কোয়াট্রেন্স গুলো বানিয়েছেন। What do you understand by bare ruined choirs? As I was comparing choirs to the boughs, to the feeble branches of the trees which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs. The choirs one sang melodious songs, melodious strains. Now at the end of their life. They cannot sing that well. In me thou seest the twilight of such day. What is mean by twilight? সেটাও আমি বলেছি, এই যে টুয়াইলাইট, টুয়াইলাইটের সাথে কিভাবে মিল আছে, কারণ টুয়াইলাইট হচ্ছে অ্যানাউন্সেস দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য ডে। টুয়াইলাইট অ্যানাউন্সেস দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য ডে। The day is coming to an end, and twilight is the interface between the day and the night, approaching night. And night is death, death's second self বলেছে। তাহলে what do you understand by bare ruined choirs? তাহলে এটা থেকে এই উত্তরটা পাওয়া গেল, আমি আলোচনা করেছি। In me thou seest the twilight of such day. What is mean by twilight হয়ে গেল। What is symbolized through black night? এটাও আমি ব্ল্যাক নাইটটা পড়াবার সময় ব্ল্যাকনেস, ডার্কনেস, ডার্কনেস মানে কি, we cannot delve deep into blackness or darkness. It's all mysterious. It's as mysterious as death itself. So black night is compared to death. Then explain the phrase death's second self. Death's second self, that is black night. The black night is itself death's second self. Why? Because we cannot know, we will not be able to know much about the black night, because it's all darkness, it's all black. Same is the case with death. Do we know anything about death? No. When we pass off, when we pass away, we cannot know anything about death. We cannot utter a word about how we feel, what we feel like after we die. Now, broad answer type can be like this. How is imagery presented in the poem? Now, as the word imagery comes, the imagery of autumn, the imagery of twilight, the imagery of dying fire, these are all imageries. When we compare something to another thing, we do it through imagery. We make many images through which, as if the thing is being acted on in front of my eyes, in front of your eyes, and you are saying that particular images are done up with the pains by our poet. How is imagery presented in the poem? How does Shakespeare explore the themes of aging, mortality, and ravages of time in the sonnet prescribed in your syllabus? This can be a good question too. Aging, mortality, and ravages of time. Aging, because as all of us know, actually, after reading this, once upon a time, actually once there was a fruitful life, but now the poet is suffering towards his death. The poet is suffering ruination. So aging is limited to this kind of thinking. Now mortality, everybody is man is mortal. One day will come when all of us have to die. So mortality, there's no escaping the fact of mortality. So the poet is prepared to face mortality, to face death, and the ravages of time. Ravages of time means the damages made by the time. A person can be fruitful in many respects, can be talented, but the ravages of time, but the damage done by the time will will not let the person be in his own way. তাকে যেতে দেবে না। একটা মানুষ ট্যালেন্টেড হতে পারে, কিন্তু after the passage of time, at the passage of time, the man will be grown sick from doing something more, from exhibiting his talents. Okay. Then, how has Shakespeare explored the idea of capturing death or win over death in his sonnet? Now, Shakespeare in this sonnet and some other sonnets of his own has tried to win over death. Shakespeare has said, Shakespeare has commented, do something that will go beyond your death. Even after your death, you'll be remembered by that action. So, here the question is, how has Shakespeare explored the idea of capturing or winning over death in his sonnet? Actually, Shakespeare has sung the joyful song of life in the act of loving. As we have very few years to live, very scanty amount of time to live, we have to love what we love in the real sense of the term. Then only we will have no lamentations left. আমরা যদি যে জিনিসটা করতে চাই, যে জিনিসটা ভালোবাসি, সেই জিনিসটা যদি করি, তাহলে আমরা we can say that we have lived a successful life. তাহলে only death can be won over only by virtue of love. Love is the word, love is the only concept that can win over death. এই আইডিয়াগুলো মনে রাখবে, তাহলে হবে কি, যখন তোমরা উত্তর লিখবে, এই কথাগুলো, এই পয়েন্টগুলো যদি তোমরা সেখানে দিয়ে দাও, ইনসার্ট করে দাও, তাহলে কিন্তু তোমরা ভালো মার্কস পাবে। তারপর আরেকটা কোশ্চেন হতে পারে, দ্য স্পিকারস অ্যাটিটিউড টুয়ার্ডস লাভ অ্যান্ড ডেথ অ্যাজ এনভিসেজড ইন দ্য সনেট। স্পিকারস অ্যাটিটিউড টুয়ার্ডস লাভ অ্যান্ড ডেথ, যেটা আমি একটু আগেই বললাম, যে ডেথ যখন আসবেই, ডেথ যখন ইনএভিটেবল, উই ক্যানট অ্যাভয়েড ডেথ, উই ক্যানট শর্ক ইট। তাহলে ডেথকে আমাদের যখন ফেস করতেই হবে, তাহলে আমরা ভালোবাসি যে জিনিসগুলোকে, যে মানুষজনদের ভালোবাসি, সেই মানুষজনদের ভালোবাসাটা আমরা পেয়ে মরি, তাহলে আমাদের we can call our lives successful. We will grow to say that yes, I have lived a successful life in my life. I have really successfully lived my life. তাহলে Shakespeare's attitude towards love and death. তারপরে আর একটা কোশ্চেন এরকম হতে পারে, what do you gather from the complexities of human relationships and the passage of time in the sonnet? Human relationship এবং তাদের মধ্যে যে কমপ্লেক্সিটিস গুলো and the passages of time, the time flies by, all are unawares. If we cannot meditate on something, the time goes by. We cannot hold time back. এখানে এটাই বলা হচ্ছে যে টাইম ইজ অলওয়েজ ফ্লোয়িং, এবং উইথ দ্য ফ্লো অফ টাইম we also flow in age. With the flow of time we are going to meet our death. So we have to have our good relationships, lovable relationship. If there is the relationships between man and man is lovable ones, if the relationships between a man and other men are good one, then we can say that I have lived my life happily. Well, now at the end I am writing the questions that I have prepared for you in the board so that you can see it well and write for your own sake.
These are the questions in nutshell. You are required to study these questions and try to find the answers. Some more are there. Okay. Now broad questions. Coming to broad questions.
In general, if you can find the answers to these questions, it will suffice, I think. So, students, try to read the poem by yourself, try to grasp the meaning, and try to answer in your own words. Especially if you can write these answers by your own, on your own, it will do you good. It will do you most good, biggest good. Thank you, students, for giving me the time to explain, to elaborate on the poem of one of the poems prescribed in the syllabus of fourth semester in class 12. So much and so far for today. See you another day. Okay, thank you.